Hi everybody, this is TechNolli, and today we've got something that a lot of guys have wanted me to do for a long time, and I just got around to doing it, and that is the X299 chipset motherboards for Hackintosh. So this is a little bit different than our other Intel Hackintosh units. The config.plist, some of the kexts are different. And so in today's video, I'm going to do the complete EFI build on this one so you guys can try to get your X299 running, okay? I've got in here the i9 9900X processor, and it runs really good. We're going to do some benchmarks on it too, okay? Now this is for a channel subscriber, and I haven't gotten the case yet, so I just decided that I would do this complete EFI build so you guys can get yours running. Now on this one too, I did replace the little Wi-Fi Bluetooth card in there and use the antennas that come with the motherboard right there with this, the Fenby M.2 card that goes right inside there, the little guy. So if you're going to do this and you're going to use this motherboard, you want to change that out before you build the system, because you got to take the screws off to get this cover loose and everything on the bottom of the motherboard. All right. Now we've got on here this big, beautiful Noctua fan that does keep this puppy nice and cool. All right. I got 32 gigs of RAM in here right now, and it's just a super nice board. You got 3 M.2 slots for your drives, and I'm going ahead, and because this motherboard does have Thunderbolt, all right, I'm going ahead and showing you guys that Apollo Twin X works beautifully. We've got our Apple mouse working perfectly, so everything works really nice on this. Now this is not hot plug for your Thunderbolt, so you have to turn on your devices before you turn on the computer, and then everything's fine, including external hard drives, all right? So I'm going to show you the complete EFI on this one, and let's get started. Okay guys, here we are. So we're going to build the EFI for this, right? Now here I already have it, but I want to show you guys how to make this so you can do it on your X299, all right? So the first thing I want you to do is go ahead and get a install macOS Catalina USB vanilla ready to go. And in the description down below, there'll be a link to the video that shows you how to just make the vanilla USB installer. Once we have that, then I want you to go over to my website and download a few files. So we'll go over to TechNolli, and we'll go over here to the downloads page, and we're going to need Mount EFI, which is right here. We're going to need Property, which is right here. Okay. Then let's go ahead and go to the Opencore. Okay, and right now it's 0.5.9, and we're going to download the release version. All right, now we can go ahead and just minimize this for now, okay? All right, so let's go over here to downloads, and here is the Opencore. All right. Now, what I want you to do is use the Mount EFI update. And what I want you to do is right-click on mountefi.command and then click Open. Then I want to choose the USB stick that I have. So that's number 1, install macOS Catalina, right there. So I'm going to press 1, put in my password. And now I'm showing my hidden EFI partition. All right. So let's go ahead and double click that, put it over here, And now we'll go to the Opencore folder that we just downloaded and just drag this EFI folder into the EFI partition on the USB stick. All right. And then double click on EFI and then OC, and then go here to Docs, and let's drag sample plist over here. Okay, now we want to rename this to config. All right, so we're done with this for now. Okay, now if you'll notice, we're going to be building this EFI, and we don't have any SSDTs. We've got all of these drivers, and we need to eliminate a lot of them. Okay, so we can go ahead and eliminate everything except Open Runtime EFI. Okay, so we'll just get rid of all these other ones and put them in the trash. All right, so we're cleaned up there. Now let's go back, and under Kext we have nothing, and under Tools you can go ahead and remove this stuff. We're not going to be using it. Okay, all right, now let's go back over to the Opencore website, and we'll go over to Opencore, and right here, and this is, I'll put that over here so you can see what we're doing. This X299 motherboard is down here on the side. It is the Skylake / Cascade Lake -XW. Okay, so it's a little different motherboard than we're used to doing, but we're going to be okay. First thing I want you to do is click on ACPI. Now, in here it talks about we need these SSDTs in order for this thing to run properly. All right. On this particular board, the mouse was kind of weird if I used this SSDT EC USB X, so I didn't use it on this one. But you definitely need this SSDT plug, SSDT AWAC, and there's another one that we need that I'm going to show you here in a second. But let's go ahead and grab these. So SSDT plug, and the Opencore guys are so friendly. They have some pre-built ones here. So we'll just click on pre-built. And then we're going to go down here till we find SSDT plug. Here it is. Click on that and we'll download it. And we'll go back, and we need the AWAC, which is right here. We'll grab this one. All right. And then we're going to need one more, and we need this one right here. Okay. So this one enabled me to get much more stable. So I went ahead and used it, and everything is working very nice. All right. So let's go ahead and minimize this for now. We'll go here to the downloads, and right here are my SSDTs, the 3 that I need. So I'm going to go back to my EFI folder, or partition, to my folder, to OC, and then ACPIs, and we'll just drag them over here. All right, so we're done with ACPI. Okay, so let's go back, and we need another driver that's not in here. All right, so let's go out of here, and let's go back to our Opencore. We can close out all of these. Okay, we'll go back here, and go up here to where you see gathering files, and click on that. Now, we need this HFS Plus driver. So let's go ahead and download that real quick. All right, and we'll go over here and grab it. And we'll copy it, and we'll put it into our EFI OC drivers folder. Okay, now what we need are kexts. And kexts are kind of like drivers in the Windows world. So we'll go back here and we're going to need a few kexts. And this is pretty common on all newer Hackintosh computers that you need these particular kexts. So we need virtual SMC. We want the release version. And we'll go back and we need Lilu. And we want the release version. Now, if you're wondering why in the world don't you just provide these, it's because I want you to use the newest files because they update these all the time. We're going to need whatever green. And we want the release version. And we're going to need Apple ALC for our audio. And we want the release version. And on this particular motherboard, it uses the Intel Mousy kext for the Ethernet, okay? Now this is for the Intel i299 chipset, okay? If you have the 211 right here, it's this small tree, and Realtek and Lucy, this one's not used much anymore, it's for older motherboards. So we're going to download the Intel Mousy, and we want the newest version, and we want the release. All right. Now, on X299, there are some things that we want to add to this. So I'm going to scroll down here until we get to this right here, this TSA Adjust Reset. Okay, on Skylake X, which is our motherboard type, many firmwares, including ASUS and EVGA, won't write the TSC to all cores. So that to me sounds like all the cores are not going to be working properly unless we use this kext, and then we have to make an adjustment to the kext, as you can see right here. So let's grab the kext. We'll click right here for a pre-built one and download it. And then we have to make an adjustment to this. So over here's the download. I want you to right click on it and show package contents. Then double click on contents and then right click on info.plist and open it up with text edit right there. Now, if you'll look in the instructions here, we want to look for this right here, this IO property match. Okay, so we'll scroll down here a little bit and you'll find it. All right, so here, IO property match, IOCPUNumber. Right here, this number, you have to change to the number of cores and the number of threads. Now this i9-9900X has 10 cores and 20 threads. So I'm going to change this to 30. So it's the total number. Okay? And then simply save it. And we're done with that. Now there's another kext that we're going to need that I'm going to provide for you because I had to find it myself. And what this kext does, let me show it to you here, right here. Mac Pro memory notification disabler. Okay, so what happens when this thing boots up and you get to the desktop screen? It'll come up and say the memory is not configured properly. And so this kext will get rid of that message. All right, so let's go over to kext and let's start putting in. I'm going to go ahead and grab this one. And I'm going to go ahead and go back over here to downloads. Let me open this up here. All right, OC and kext. All right, so we need this one that we already made an adjustment to. We need the Intel Mousy kext. We need the Apple ALC. We need whatever green. Just the kext, guys. We need Lilu. And we need virtual SMC, which is going to be right here. Okay? All right. So we're done with our KEX. So we've got drivers, we've got ACPI, SSDTs, we've got KEX. So we're done with that. Now let's get started with configuring our config.plist. So we're going to use proper tree for that. So we double click on it, right click on propertree.command and open it. And go to File, Open. And we're going to go to the EFI right here. We're going to go to the folder, to OC, and to config.plist. And open it up. All right, let's get all this stuff out of the way. And what we want to do now is go back over to our wonderful Opencore guys. And we're going to click on ACPI. And we are done with this. So we're going to move on down to Bootoader. But first, I want you to get rid of these warning. We don't need these. So we'll get rid of those. All right, now it's nice and clean. Now, in order to inject the path to all of our SSDTs and to our drivers and KEX, we need to just simply go to File, OC Snapshot, click on the USB EFI partition, on EFI, on OC, and press Choose. And it just injected everything into there. Now you'll notice some of these say false, these SSDTs. What we want to do is an OC clean snapshot, and what that does is just cleans up our config.plist so everything is properly in place and turned on. Okay, so we're going to go down through my config.plist and compare it to Opencore's. Okay, so what we want to do is get down here to Bootoader. So I'll go over here, we'll go to Bootoader. Okay, now we need to go to Quirks. So let's go to Quirks right here, and you're going to see some differences. So what I would probably suggest is if you use my EFI folder and it doesn't work, then you may want to follow the guide more closely, changing or trying different settings that I had to change to get my motherboard to work. So if we go down through here, avoid runtime defrag. Yes, I've got that to true. This devirtualized MIMO, I've got that to false. Provide custom slide right down here, true. And rebuild Apple memory map right here, I've got that to false. So why are they different? Because that's the only way I could get my board to boot was changing some of these settings, okay? Sync runtime permissions is true, okay? Device properties we don't need to touch, so we'll just go right on past kernel and go down to the next set of quirks, okay? So let's scoot on down there, and right here we are. So the first one, Apple CPU PM config lock or CFG lock, I've got that to false, but the second one I have to true, just like it shows here. And then we'll go to disable low mapper. It says to turn that on, and I've got that set to false. Now, again, these are just settings that I had to change to get mine to work properly. Okay, and then panic no KEX dump, we have it set to true. Power timeout kernel patch, we've got that set to false. And then this XHCI port limit, we have that set to true, just like it shows here. Okay, miscellaneous. Let's go on down here to debug. Now, I've got this set up to Apple debug, so everything is the same as on the Opencore website. And right here, target though, I've got set to 3 because I don't want to get a bunch of boot logs anymore. if you want the boot logs, you change this target number to 67, just like it shows here. And it will show you those boot logs. Okay, now we go down to security. Everything here is set the same. Okay, remember down here where it says Vault, you have to change that to optional, and scan policy has to be changed to 0. All right, let's go down to NVRAM. We're right here, NVRAM, and we want to go to the boot arguments. Now, another change that I had to make, I went ahead and added the -v, the keep sims equals 1, the debug I added. Now, if you notice right here, I had to add in npci equals 0x2000. Let me show it to you. All right, because I couldn't get the system to boot. It just kept getting hung up. And then this right here, ALCID equals 1, is for our audio. Okay, so everything else is the same. We changed our preferred language right here, and that is right here. You can also use en-us:0 and change the type to string right here if you want. Right here, you would change this to string, and you would put in the en-us right there. Okay, so we're done with that. Then we come down to platform info. Right here, platform info. And we have, on mine, Mac Pro 7,1, and this got me up and running. Now, on yours, maybe iMac Pro 1,1 is going to work for you. You have to experiment if you run into problems. And that's the beautiful thing about Opencore is that, you know, you can try different things to get past those boot panics where it just, you know, locks up on you. But this worked for my board. And like I say, I would try my EFI folder first and see if it works on your X299, and I would love to know if it worked on your boards. Okay? So let's go on down, platform info, to UEFI, which is right here. And guys, in here, there's nothing for us to change. We have our drivers that it's notating right here. Now I have this open canopy because if I want to put a graphical boot up menu, I have that open canopy. So let's move on down. And you notice there's another Quirks right here. And let's check it out. Duplicate boot order. Okay, we've got that set to true. Request boot bar routing. And we have that, request boot bar routing, to true. So everything there is the same. All right, so we're done with that. And we can just save. And now we're ready to go into the BIOS and get this thing booted. All right, let's go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and go to Advanced Memory Settings. And you just want to set this top one here, Extreme Memory Profile. You want to set it to Profile 1, which is right here. That way you have the correct speed for your RAM. This is 3600 speed RAM. So when you select Profile 1, it will select the speed of your RAM. So it's perfect. Okay, let's go out of here. We can go over to System, and there's nothing that we need to change here. I am running the F7C BIOS, which is the latest BIOS update for this board. Okay, we'll go over to BIOS, and we come down here to Fast Boot. We make sure it's disabled. We make sure CSM support is disabled. And Secure Boot down here will be disabled. Okay, go out of here with the Escape button, go over to Peripherals, and we see here that we have our onboard LAN controller turned on. Above 4G decoding is enabled. We go down here to Network Stack, it's disabled. Thunderbolt config, you want it set just like it is here. It works perfectly fine. It will come by default at a different setting here for security. You want to make sure you set it to no security. Okay, we'll go out of here. USB configuration, you want to enable the top 3. Okay, so we're done with that. Now, we'll go over here to chipset. Let's turn off VTD. And we'll go over to power. There's nothing we need to worry about here. And sleep does work on this. We'll go to save and exit. And then we can start booting. So I'm going to start pressing the F12 key to make sure that I am booting from my USB stick. Okay. And right there it is. I hit enter. And then I install macOS Catalina from my external USB and hit enter. We'll go through a lot of text, guys, and then we will come back up and we'll start formatting our hard drive. All right? Okay, be right back. All right, we're coming up now. Once you get past that screen, it's like a sigh of relief. Once you get up to here, you see the Apple logo. It usually goes pretty well. Okay, guys, let's get in here. Disk utility, continue. I'm going to go up here where it says View and Show All Devices. Okay, and I'm going to put it right here on this SanDisk 240 gig drive. Click Erase, and I'm going to call it X299. I'm going to change our format to APFS, but watch, if I try to do that, I can't, because it's defaulting to what the hard drive is already formatted to, which is a Windows disk. So you got to change this scheme to GUID partition map, then you can choose APFS and then erase it. Done. X out of here, install macOS, continue, agree and agree, select that hard drive and install it. This will get down to about 2 minutes remaining, and then it's going to reboot on its own. We'll leave our USB stick in the computer because we need to boot from it a couple more times. Okay? When this gets closer to the end, I'll come back. Okay, about 2 minutes remaining. Let's see if it reboots. And there it goes. Perfect timing. Okay, we're going to leave our USB stick in there because we need to continue along with the installation to the next step. Now it's going to come up here to the picker and it will choose the correct macOS installer and continue on, so you don't need to worry about it. Now guys, on this particular build, it doesn't get stuck really bad on any lines in particular, maybe 5 seconds on 1 or 2 lines, and that's about it. It is pretty smooth and working really good. So we're going to come up here and continue the install. This will have to go completely across, but before it does, it reboots again right at about 12 minutes remaining. So that's okay. Just leave your stick in there. It's going to come up. It's going to pick the correct USB stick and continue the installation. And here it goes again. All right. So it's going to come up here again to the Apple logo, and it has to continue the installation. It's going to go completely across the screen there, that little taskbar. And when it gets close to the end, we'll come back and continue the installation. It says less than a minute remaining. So we should be rebooting here pretty quick. And we'll get on to the next step. And there it goes. Perfect. All right, we got one more reboot, so we're leaving our stick in there, right? Gonna come up here, and it should automatically, at the picker, pick our hard drive. or the name of our hard drive, okay? Now, if you remember, I named this X299. And there it is. It came up X299, and it'll continue on its own. Didn't have to hit anything. Okay, now we're coming up and we can finish up this puppy. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our country. It just popped right up. Okay, and we'll continue. And right here, I can select my Wi-Fi. So I'll go ahead and put that in. Password. Okay, continue. Don't want to transfer anything. You do not want to sign into Apple yet because you haven't changed your serial numbers or added any serial numbers to your Hackintosh, so Apple will blacklist your Apple login. So you want to skip or set up later and then skip. Okay? And then agree to terms and conditions. You can name it whatever you want. I'm going to call it a Mac. Put in a password. And continue. And we'll customize our, I like to turn on location services, but then I turn off the analytics. Continue. And we don't want to set up screen time for right now. I don't want Siri, so I'll uncheck that. And then you can choose your light, dark, or auto. I'm going to choose auto, just for the heck of it. All right, we are done. Now here, I just have to identify my keyboard, so I'll just click continue, hit the keys that it wants me to hit, and I'm done. All right, now, in order to finish up, guys, I'm going to go back over to my website, TechNolli.com. All right. Okay, then just go over here to the download page, and we're going to grab a few files that we need. We need Mount EFI. So we'll grab that one, download it, allow. We need Gen SM BIOS. So we'll download that. And we need Proper Tree. And we will download that. Okay. So we'll go out of here. We'll go to our downloads. And we'll start with Mount EFI. Right click on Mount EFI and open it. And then open again. Now what we're using this for, we need to get to the hidden EFI partition on our USB stick, right? So this is the way we do it. We're going to select number 1, which is our install macOS Catalina. Put in our password. And right there is now my hidden EFI partition. And it has our magic inside of it, which is our EFI folder. All right. Now let's go back over here. And if you remember, I named my hard drive X299. So I'm going to select number 3 as well. Okay, I can close this out. And I'm going to go over here to the hard drive. Right here. Okay, so this is my EFI on my hard drive. And here is the current folder. And if you notice, there's nothing in it. Okay, so I'm going to go to this EFI partition, double click, copy this EFI into here, and replace it. All right, now, as you can see, I've got my files in here. Now what I want to do now is go back to our downloads and open Gen SM BIOS, right click and open, then open. And what we're using this for is to create serial numbers and UUID numbers for our new Hackintosh. So we're going to press number 1, enter. and then enter again, and press number 2. And what it wants to know right here is, where is the config.plist? Okay, so I'm going to go back over here to Go and Computer, to my hard drive, EFI, the EFI folder, OC, and here is my config.plist. So I'm going to just drag it into here. Now it knows where it is, and hit enter. Then press number 3 to generate my numbers. And what it wants to know here is, what is the product system name? And if you remember, I called it a Mac Pro 7, 1, and hit enter. All right, it just injected all of those numbers. Hit enter again, and we are done. Now, if you want to get rid of the text while it's booting, then we would go over here to Downloads and go into Property. Right-click on property.command and open. Open it up. All right, we'll go in here to File, Open, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my USB installer because I don't want to get confused with my EFI partitions. So now let me go back up here and open, and I want to go to the EFI on my Mac Pro, which is right here. EFI folder, OC, and config.plist, and open it up. Okay, so there are 2 things that we can do in here to make our Mac or our Hackintosh act more like a Mac. So we could go down here and we can minimize these until we get to miscellaneous. All right, so right here, this is timeout. Timeout is the amount of seconds that that little picker window shows up. You may want to shorten this, or you may want to make it longer depending on what you're going to use the picker for. If you're going to use a dual boot system, you may want to have 10 seconds that that picker window shows up so you can select to go into the Mac or go into the Windows hard drive. I'm going to set this to 1, which is the lowest you should set it to make that picker window show up the least amount. Okay? And then we're going to close out miscellaneous and go to NVRAM and take out the -V, and that gets rid of all the text while you're booting. Okay? And then hit enter. Now I won't see all that text, and it'll give me more of a Mac experience. So we'll close this out and restart the computer. Let's see what it looks like. There's our motherboard post, and then watch in the top left corner. See how quick that was? And it went right to the Apple. So that's about as close to a real Mac as you can get, I would say. And here we are. Put in my password, and we are done with this one. Really, really cool that we got the X299 running. This is a beast. It really is. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you some specs on this thing. We're going to do some benchmarks. And we're going to compare the numbers to the i9 9900K 8-core processor against this 10-core i9 9900X. And we're going to show you how much more horsepower this puppy has. And I'm going to show you also, because so many of you guys are following me for music computers for doing recording, I'm going to show you Logic Pro, and I'm going to show you what you're able to do with this compared to the i9 9900K, because both of these have Thunderbolt. So that's what we're looking for, the most Mac experiences we can get. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please, please, please. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys out there. I appreciate you watching my videos. It is appreciated more than you know. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next video.